guys, and welcome back to A Dinosaur in the Library. I'm Dawn, and I'm here to ramble about books. And today I have a multiple book review. So in the last couple of weeks, I read 4 picture books slash middle grade LGBTQ books, and I kind of wanted to review them a little bit for you because I get a lot of requests from friends of mine who have kids, asking me for books, diverse books, including LGBTQ. And while I know a lot of the titles, I haven't necessarily had the time to get to read them. So I'm trying to fix that, and I'm trying to get to some of those, and so that I can give a better recommendation the next time someone asks me. So I have 4 books that I want to talk about today, and 3 of them are picture books, and 1 is a middle grade. So I think I'm going to talk about the middle grade first because I think it's the one that I loved the most, and that is Better Nate Than Ever by Tim Federle. And this is a Stonewall honor book and one of the most adorable things I've read in quite a number of years. So Nate is, I think he's 11. I honestly can't remember how old Nate is. Dang it. Anyway, so Nate loves Broadway. Nate loves to sing, loves to act, loves to dance, and he hears from his friend that there's going to be an open audition for E.T. the musical in New York. So what Nate does is he engineers a little trip and takes himself to New York with the help of his best friend, who stays behind to cover for him so that he can audition for this show. And Nate never really says that he is gay or bi, but there are multiple cues throughout this book that he is questioning, and that's important. You know, I mean, it's important to remember that not every member of the LGBTQ community is solidly in one camp or another. Some people are like, I identify as lesbian and queer, but there are some people who identify as just non-labeled, or they think of themselves as questioning, but they're really not sure about themselves yet. And that's really where Nate falls, is he's kind of questioning, and there's a few places in the book where you see he may be at least bi or gay, but he doesn't put a label on himself yet. And later in the series he may. But I liked this book. He was very open and honest with himself about it. But yeah. So I'm going to read you a really short snippet. I read this book. We recently went back home for the weekend. We went to Birmingham, and I always get motion sick in the car, so I can't read. But I bought these motion sickness bracelets, which worked on the way up, but not on the way back home. But they worked on the way up, and I got this book almost completely finished. I think I had a couple of chapters left when we got to the hotel, and I finished them then. But there's one little part at the very beginning that just broke my heart and reminded me so much of my own childhood that it was too much. So Nate is having a conversation with his mother. This is at the very beginning, so there's really no spoilers involved here. He's walking through the woods. He's walking around with his mom, and his mom says, "Hey, the neighbors saw you out in the woods singing and dancing." And what he was doing was recreating a scene from Hairspray with his dog, which, I'm sorry, just sounds adorable. But she says, "People hunt back there, Nate. It'll be your fault alone if there's an accident." "Don't worry about an accident, Mom. Anybody shooting at Nate Foster would know exactly what they were aiming at," I wanted to say, but I just went, okay. And his mother follows up the next line. It's same thing at school. You could at least try to take a page from Anthony's book to fit in. And Anthony's his older brother. So I won't spoil anything for this book, but it's a really, really good read. And it's funny, but there are some extremely heartbreaking moments, like that one little conversation. It tore my heart out and stomped on it. It was just, dang it, Tim Federle. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw when I was reading this, because I posted, "Dang it, Tim Federle, just go ahead and stomp on my heart. That's fine. I didn't need that." And it was because of that passage. So please go read this. I think I gave this a 5 stars on Goodreads. If I didn't, I don't remember why, and it's at least a 4-star, but I think I gave it 5. Go read this book. And so the next three are picture books, and I'm going to talk about them in reverse order. So in reverse order of how much I liked them. The first one is my favorite of the three, and that is This Day in June by Gail Pittman, illustrated by Christina Litton. And it's a picture book, so it's not a whole lot of plot going on here, but I'll just read you the back. This day in June, parades start soon. Rainbow arches, joyful marches. In a wildly whimsical, validating, and exuberant reflection of the LGBT community, This Day in June welcomes readers to experience a pride celebration and share in a day in which we are all united. And I picked this up knowing that it was going to be awesome. And I'm flipping through looking for a specific page to show you here. But I absolutely knew that I was going to love this book. And it's beautiful. I mean, I love, not only is the artwork beautiful, it's just a very honest showing of a pride parade. So you have two women kissing in this scene. I hope you can see this. The loving kiss is so delicious. And there's also two boys, which would appear to be two boys in the background. And a parent kissing a child. So I thought that was just really cool. And the other thing I thought was really, really cool was this. So if you've ever been to a pride parade in a large city, which I haven't, but I have seen video and pictures, there's always the guys in leather. And you can see here, he's like the leather straps and bodysuit and things like this. They put these in here because this is an honest representation of what you will see at a pride parade. Everything from parents and children all the way to the fetish community, lesbians, gay people, transgender, drag queens. There are drag queens in here, by the way. I just want to show you. Lots of drag queens. And yes, drag queens, and on the fancy dresses, flowing tresses page, and it's just amazing. So if you have little ones or know people who have little ones, or you just like picture books, which is what I do, this is from my library, but I'm gonna have to buy this for myself. And it's called This Day in June. And the best thing to me, the very best thing in the whole world, is in the back there is a reading guide for parents and caregivers. So on each page, they give a breakdown of what's on each page. So they have history, they have like the clad in leather. They explain why why so many, there's a leather community. They have pictures of the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, which is an LGBT order of nuns. And I will try to find links to websites explaining that sort of thing below, but you should definitely check this out. It offers lots of educational opportunities for kids, but it is also an amazingly inclusive, beautiful book, and I loved it. The next book, another one that I loved, Morris Micklewhite and the Tangerine Dress. And this is a book that I have been wanting to read for quite some time now. And the basic plot is that Morris has a great imagination, and at his school there are different toys, including a dress-up center, and he absolutely loves a tangerine dress. The other children keep telling him that boys don't wear dresses, and he just keeps on doing him. And there's a little part where he's kind of unsure, that he should be doing it, but his mom is super supportive, and he ends up, spoiler alert, he ends up, proud to be who he is. And he never says, oh, I'm gay or I'm transgender or anything like that. This is just a really excellent book about gender nonconformity, because you don't have to be lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender to be gender nonconformative. Perfectly heterosexual men can want to wear dresses, and that is a 100% fine thing in the universe to do. And I think that this book, it would be great for not only kids who are just gender non-normative, it would be also great for transgender children to see that, yeah, you know what, you do you, and everybody else can just hang it up. I loved this book. The last book I have mixed feelings about. I did recommend it in the anti-bullying week video, but because it was a really awesomely illustrated book, and it was kind of cool, but I had issues with it. So it's a little bit of a spoiler alert, because I'm going to talk about the ending, but it's a picture book, so I don't know how many of you are really concerned about spoilers in it. And this one is 10,000 Dresses by Marcus Ewert with illustrations by Rex Ray. And at first, I want to draw attention to the illustrations. They're kind of paper cutty. I'm not sure if they're paper cuts, but they are pretty awesome. So they're done like this, and they look like paper cuts. So Bailey dreams about magical dresses, and Bailey goes to their mom. Mom says, boys don't wear dresses. Bailey goes to their dad, and their dad says, boys don't wear dresses. Bailey goes to their brother, and their brother says, not only do boys not wear dresses, I'm going to beat your butt if I catch you talking about dresses again. So, that kind of thing. So, Bailey is very upset, but Bailey does find a friend who is like, yeah, that sounds like an awesome dress, let's make it. But there's no real resolution at the end of this. And I understand that I'm an adult reading a children's picture book and wanting resolution. And that's probably not exactly right. But when I compare this to, because I read this one first, but when I compare this to Morris Micklewhite, which has a very clear and positive outcome and positive resolution, I feel like this one misses the mark. And no, not everything in life is going to turn out perfectly, but I think there needed to be a little more resolution toward the end of this. So I did not rate this one as high as the others. I might have given it a 3-star. Between the two, if I wanted to recommend a gender non-normative book for someone, I would probably pick Morris Micklewhite. But if they only wanted to read one. However, if they kind of want to read all different kinds of things, this would be a good book. It's not that the book isn't good. It's not that the book isn't cool or really beautifully done or doesn't have a great story. It's just that I preferred Morris Micklewhite's ending, and I prefer the resolution of it. And like I say, I didn't necessarily need this to have a 100% happy ending, but I did want a little more discussion there. So, you know, and I do agree with, Kate Bornstein has a little blurb on the back. I do agree with the fact that it does offer one very important thing that Morris Micklewhite doesn't necessarily, and that is the idea that even if the family that you're born with does not accept you, there are always people out there that you can find who will love you. And the LGBTQ community knows a lot about this. A lot of us have had to build families of our own because our families we were born in don't really support us as much. Some of them do. And even the people who have families, biological families that support them, you know, you always need people who really understand you and who really understand where you're coming from and really get you. So I do really love that. It can show small children or older children who are struggling with their gender identity or their sexuality or anything about themselves, really, that everybody else is having issues with, that, you know, you'll be able to find your own tribe someday. You'll be able to find your own family and your own group, and you'll have a family, even if the one you have isn't the best. So I will give it that. And I will say that that part I really did love, and that part it is extremely valuable for. But that is all I had for this video, and I talked quite a long time about these 3 books considering how short they are. But definitely check these out. I got all of these from my university library. The director, when I was working there this summer, asked me for recommendations for what we needed to improve the LGBTQ collection, and I said Stonewall List and Rainbow List for sure. These are all books that fell on those lists, and I absolutely love them. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll go out and check them out. And if you've got any great suggestions for me, leave them below. You never know if I've heard of them before. And I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.